Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm checking to see if my client is here. I don't see him.
Who is your client?
Narciso Salinas.
Yes, he's
He's in the waiting room.
Okay, that's fine. It will need him, Judge, because it's a proof up for a divorce.
Okay. And is he the no, not so is the respondent?
Sophia stepped out, so as soon as Sophia comes back in, I'll bring him in.
Yeah,
That's
Sophia's
fine.
okay.
Just let him know, because I'm sure he's wondering where we're at.
Okay.
Mhm. That's fine, Judge. I'll put myself on mute until Sophia gets here.
Very well.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, court will resume here with the December 14, 2022 docket. And Miss Logan, good morning, ma'am. I believe you need to unmute, Miss Logan.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
I'm here. Good morning, Judge.
Morning.
Thank you. I'm here today. We had originally had a defendant's motion for summary judgment hearing scheduled, and I agreed to postpone this hearing because defense attorney has been having some health issues, and we
Okay.
filed a Rule 11 yesterday. But
Okay.
I would ask if we can get a January setting. I would
Okay,
appreciate that.
What you do is submit a new order setting hearing date. And we will look strongly there at January.
All right. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am. Happy holidays. Thank you for that announcement. You're
Cheers.
excused. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. By the way, court reporter, we're here on this case is CL 20-4014D, Maria del Carmen Gonzalez versus Kristen Houston. Okay, Rule 11 has been filed. That is the announcement. All right, court will continue here with the December 14, 2022 docket. And let's see here, Mr. Ball, you're here on F4707-21-4. Anthony Rivas versus Citalia Rivas. That's a divorce. You need to unmute, Mr. Ball.
I'm terribly sorry, Your Honor. Thank you.
No problem, no problem.
Your Honor, that's a case that's already been taken care of, and we are just filing the final decree for signature, and I have submitted it with my client's signature on the decree already. I believe it was already proved up and taken care of.
Okay, Ida, do you have a?
I believe Mr. Ramos' office called that they too have executed the decree. I don't know which decree, because I know I did see one
Already
yesterday, but only had Mr. Ball's and his client's signature.
Okay.
So if,
Clearly mine's the right one.
Okay, the amended one is, would there be an needed, are we gonna need an amended
no,
one?
I think what he's saying is that there's two competing decrees.
Uh-huh.
So which one are you gonna sign? Is
Well-
that what Mr.?
Well, the one that Mr. Ball signed and also Mr. Ramos, right? You said he signed that one too?
No, I think Mr. Ramos prepared his own decree. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Ball?
Okay,
I haven't read Mr. Ramos's. I don't think there's anything that's really competing. The parties weren't married for any substantial amount of time, and I don't recall there being kids or any real property that was getting divided up or anything like that that I
Okay.
recall. It was a pretty
Rick.
cut and dry, simple.
okay.
Rick, what did Mr. Ramos's office say exactly?
Judge, yes, I received a call from Mr. Ramos's assistant this morning that the parties and the attorneys had both signed off on the decree and it was e-filed today. That was the message I received.
Okay.
I guess the question is there only one decree circulating? Is he talking about the same one that you e-filed, Mr. Ball, with your signature and your client's signature?
I have not read whatever he filed. My client signed it and we sent it over to them. And that's all I've seen, but I've not seen anything that he
Okay.
has filed. If
So
the
then-
court would maybe allow me to review his decree and possibly, if it's okay, either call in a little while to the staff, because I'm guessing they're going to be substantially similar.
Okay.
I've never had an issue with Mr. Ramos before. He's
Okay,
always been good.
we just want to make sure we sign the correct one and we don't sign the wrong one and then we have to come back again. So yeah, why don't you review that and then call us back and
I'm assuming, Mr. Ball, that the decree that you e-filed is the same one that you forwarded to Mr. Ramos?
It is.
So I'm
Okay.
assuming, I'm
It's-
hoping
it's
that that's the one that he
it's the-
signed.
it's the same one.
Yes, but
okay.
if he filed it this morning, the clerk has not accepted it. I just checked right before getting on.
Uh-huh.
And that does not reflect
Okay.
in Odyssey, so that's why I cannot confirm that
Okay.
at this time.
I
Well, then
will
we're
take a
gonna-
look and I will get back to y'all here shortly.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be
Yes,
excused
sir. Thank you.
temporarily?
Have a good, yeah, have a good
Yes,
day.
sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Miss Sofia Arispe is back.
Okay.
That's on number 8 and number 9.
8 and 9? 29. All right, let me see here. Court will continue with the December 14, 2022 docket. And I have F3214-22-4 in the matter of the marriage of Michelle Elizondo and Narciso Salinas. All right.
Mr. Salinas has to take off your cap, Mr. Salinas. You need to unmute.
And you need to unmute Mr. Salinas. All right, let me hear the parties and the attorneys, please, on the record.
Judge Sofia Arispe for Michelle Elizondo.
Darlene Vale here for Narciso Salinas. He's also here, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good
Are we
morning.
gonna put on some evidence, Ms. Arispe?
Judge, I can go ahead and prove it up. It's a final divorce hearing, Judge, mediated settlement agreement.
Good. Ms. Michelle Elizondo, you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may put your hand down and speak a little bit louder. You may begin, Ms. Arispe.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Your name is Michelle Elizondo.
Yes,
You're married to Narciso Salinas.
yes,
You filed divorce August 3rd of 2022.
yes,
And before you filed, you lived in the state 6 months and in the county 90 days.
yes,
Married May 2018, stopped living together as husband and wife April 18th of 2022.
yes,
You have 3 children of this marriage, Elizabeth, Maximiliano, and Samantha.
yes,
And in reference to Maximiliano, he's currently viewed as being disabled, is that correct?
yes,
And child support has been established for 3 children, is that correct?
yes,
And the child support will commence November 1st in the sum of $2,760 per month. And when the first child reaches age 18 or graduates from high school, it's reduced to $2,300 and thereafter to $1,840. Is that correct?
yes,
And if Maximiliano is still disabled before his 18th birthday, you understand that you need to come back to this court to file a request that child support continue past his 18th birthday.
yes,
And your husband will provide medical insurance for the children and dental insurance, is that correct?
yes,
And you do have copies of the birth certificate and social security number so that we can now give them to him. Is that correct?
Yes.
And whatever's not covered by insurance will be paid 50-50 between you and your husband.
Yes.
And in reference to visitation, he will have the standard visitation set out in the family code. However, due to his employment, he can identify 4 days every month that he will exercise his visits on instead of the standard visitation. Is that correct?
Yes.
All holidays will go as per the family code. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there is a restriction that the residency of the children be maintained in Hidalgo County. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if your husband changes his primary residence somewhere else, then that restriction will be lifted. Is that correct?
Yes.
In reference to property, you awarded the home located at 3305 Amethyst Avenue in Mission. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that property is paid in full. Is that correct? And he's awarded the property on Mile 9 North Lahoma Road in Mission, and also a property located in Stark County. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the property in Stark County was his before marriage. Is that correct?
Yes.
And reference to other personal effects, you keep whatever's in your possession and he keeps whatever's in his possession. Is that correct?
Yes.
And reference to pension, you will be awarded 50% of this pension from May 2008 to October 21st of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
And reference to vehicles, he will keep 4 vehicles in his possession, which is a 2020 Dodge Ram, a 21 Cadillac, a 2021 Can-Am UTV, and a 2021 Jeep. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in exchange, he was supposed to give you $5,000 no later than December 5th of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in exchange for the residents, there is no child support arrears or no retro child support awarded. Is that correct?
Yes.
And all the items in the home you will keep except for some religious items and financial documents that your husband was going to pick up. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he's, to your knowledge, he's picked up those items.
Yes.
And basically there's a mutual injunction that no significant others that you may be or he may be in a romantic relationship can visit the home until 90 days after the mediation settlement agreement was signed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And both of you will give notice to each other if you intend to travel into Mexico. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if somebody did not disclose any assets after before the mediation settlement agreement was entered into, that party will be entitled to those assets afterwards.
Yes.
And for tax purposes, you've agreed that your husband can claim Samantha Salinas as his tax deduction. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand that if Mr. Salinas is not in compliance with this order, you would need to come back to this court to file any new motions. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And I will be preparing a quadro, which is a different order, so that you can go ahead and get your share of the pension plan. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you'll pay all debts associated to whatever property was awarded to you. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he will pay all debt associated with the real property and vehicles and credit cards that are in his possession. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the divorce decree at page 30 through 36 has a list of all his debt. And you reviewed that decree. Is that correct?
Yes.
And do you feel that the orders for your children are in the best interest of your children?
Yes.
And do you feel that the division of the estate and the debt is fair and equitable to both you and him?
Yes.
And you don't need a name change because you have maintained your last name of Elizondo. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're asking this court for a divorce.
Yes.
And you're asking this court to approve the mediation settlement agreement.
Yes.
Pass the witness, Judge.
All right,
Yes,
Ms.
Your
Lim.
Honor.
I'm
If
sorry?
I may, I have a couple of questions for her.
Sure.
Ms. Elizondo, you are not presently pregnant, are you?
No.
Okay, and you are not aware of any other children that you would have had or adopted that were born during the marriage. The only children of this marriage are the ones that are listed on your pleadings and the
Yeah.
ones that you have testified today. And as
Yeah.
you've told the court, you're not presently expecting. Okay, ma'am, I just wanted to be sure because I didn't quite hear on the dates on the, you understand that you're only entitled on his retirement from the date of marriage, which I believe we established to be or agreed to be May 18th.
Mhm.
Is that correct? May 18th of 2008 up to October 21st, 2022.
Yes,
That is, you're only entitled to 50% of that,
yes,
okay? And you're responsible for for whatever fees. In other words, the tax on that.
yes,
Okay, in addition to that, ma'am, I just want to be sure that we all, there was where, my client, Narciso Salinas, was supposed to be able to go into the house December 15th or no later than December 15th to recover his religious items, financial documents. Okay, has that happened yet, ma'am?
yes,
Okay, so, and you understand that you are solely responsible for the taxes on the home and things of that nature,
yes,
okay? In addition to that, you understand that you gave my client the right to claim Samantha Salinas as a defendant for federal income tax purposes.
yes,
And you understand that you may have to execute documents to that effect. And I am going to ask you on page 36 that there be added some language in there that says, you know, they will execute whatever the IRS requires from them so that he can claim the child as a dependent. Or I can make the changes on there and then give it to the court, whichever the way the court would like to do it, Your Honor.
Okay.
And in addition to that, ma'am, you've gone through the debts that you're responsible for and the debts that he is responsible for. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay, and you understand that he is taking on all other debts on this marriage.
yes,
Okay. And you have confirmed that he had separate property.
yes,
Okay. Now, you understand that you're supposed to let each other know, but when we talked about in the divorce decree, you're to provide appropriate notice within 10 days notice is necessary for the child to travel with the other person beyond the county, state, or territorial limits of the United States. And the one traveling will disclose the traveling plans to the other non-traveling conservator, which includes destination and times.
yes,
I have nothing further of this witness. And you're asking the court to approve this, not only because you did a mediation agreement, because you think this is also in the best interest for your children, yourself, to terminate this divorce. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay.
Judge, if I may go ahead and just clear up some matters.
Yes, ma'am.
In reference to the pension plan, the date of marriage was May of 2008. Is that correct? That's what the mediation agreement says, to October 21st of 2022. Is that correct? So that's going to be the time frame that you'll be entitled to 50% of his pension. Is that correct?
yes,
And in the mediation settlement agreement, we agreed that the notice was in terms of traveling to Mexico. What you've been asked is that notice be given when either you or your husband travel outside of the Hidalgo County. Is that correct?
yes,
And you're okay with that change in the decree that says that he has to let you know if he's taking the children out of Hidalgo County, and you need to let him know and where you're staying, and he needs to let you know where he's staying and means of contacting the children. Is that correct?
yes,
And you're okay with that agreement?
yes,
Now, in reference to the federal income tax, you understand that if you want any changes, you would have to come to this court. And changes would be if he doesn't pay child support, you'd have to come to this court to modify that agreement because he's not paying child support. You
yes.
understand that?
Mhm.
And you also understand the reference to child support, you do have the option to have a wage assignment issued to have child support deducted from his paycheck, and that would be up to the employer to decide how to divvy up that child support. You understand that?
Yes.
I have nothing further, Judge.
No, Your Honor, I'd like to call my client, Mr. Salinas.
All right, one moment. All right, good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. You may proceed, Ms. Vale.
Mr. Salinas, you've heard your wife, Michelle Elizondo, testify today. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you understand the facts that you only have two, as far as you know, you only have three children. Elizabeth Salinas, Samantha Salinas, and Maximiliano Salinas. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
there are other children of the marriage. Okay, you went to mediation with your wife and you guys basically worked out your divorce. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And further, sir, because you work on an oil rig, because of the type of areas that you have, we had an agreement that was made that when you are employed outside of the Hidalgo County area, you're allowed to designate 4 nuns a month during your scheduled time off for visitation, as long as it doesn't interfere with her holidays and Mother's Day. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And otherwise, the standard sort of the visitation kicks in if you were working in the area that we have worked down the divorce decree. We've drafted a divorce decree. We've sent it to you. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We also agreed that there would be no retroactive child support and that no retroactive child support judgment is granted. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have each agreed to property divisions which have already been disclosed to the court. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you also acknowledge that you had property prior to marriage in Stark County. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And you acknowledge that you've agreed to pay her $5,000 no later than December 5th. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have entered your home to retrieve your items, Mr. Salinas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Outside of that, sir, you are also asking the court to approve this divorce. Well, divorce is never easy for anybody, sir. This is the best that you can do for you and your children. Is that correct? Under the circumstances.
Yes, ma'am.
We have nothing further to present, Your Honor.
Judge, I have a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Salinas, you know that during visitation, when you designate the 4 days per month, that you need to advise your wife of those days that you will designate as your visits. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you can do phone call, text message, email, whatever means you want. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that you had $5,000 due on December 5th of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you currently still owe her those $5,000. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And when can she expect payment so she doesn't have to come back to court on that issue?
As soon as I get the money,
A time frame would be good.
at the end of December.
Okay. And she's missing some remote controls to the exterior room that's close to the swimming pool. Can you please return those remote controls to her?
I'm not aware of that.
So you don't have those?
No,
They didn't go in any of your boxes by accident?
I don't know. She's the one that packed everything up.
Okay, but you've not seen them in your boxes or you've not unloaded?
I haven't downloaded nothing.
If you find those remote controls by chance, would you please return them to your wife?
I sure will.
And you're in agreement that you're going to be paying all the debt associated with all the property awarded to you, including credit cards, vehicles, and real estate. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing further, Judge.
Ms. Vale, anything else?
Yes, I just wanted to be sure, sir. We're requesting that the MS be followed in terms of the divorce, and that on the MS agreement, the deal was that you have allowed to claim Samantha Salinas for tax purposes every year, and she will execute any necessary documents or forms required by the S for such credit or claim. Is that correct, Mr. Salinas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in order for her to get anything changed, she would have to come back to the court to do that. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And of course, the MSA agreement has about the vehicles. Is that correct, sir? And you're getting the vehicles which you already have in your possession?
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, court will take judicial notice of the entire file in cause number F3214-22-4 in the matter of the marriage of Michelle Elizondo and Narciso Salinas. Court will hereby approve the agreement of the parties. Court will dissolve the marriage of petitioner respondent. Court will await a decree for signature.
Has a decree been e-filed already?
I don't think so. We're waiting for signatures.
I've got the signatures, Judge. I can send them to council.
Okay, because I think Ms.
Okay,
Bell said. that
I'm
she needed-
gonna, I need to add just that change, but I'll send you the changes, Sophia, before you do that.
Okay,
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. Good luck and happy holidays, okay?
thank
Your
you, Judge.
excuse.
With the excuse.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Okay, Mr. Ball and Mr. Ramos on number 10.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ball and Mr. Ramos, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can,
Your Honor.
Judge.
Good
All
morning.
right, good morning, folks. We're here on F 4707-21-4 in the Rivas divorce. Yes, folks, what do we have?
Judge, I looked at the decree that opposing counsel filed. It's the same decree that was prepared and sent over all the parties. It signed it. Unfortunately, for some reason, it was, while I was reviewing it, it was actually rejected by the clerk, but it is the same decree that I had filed with Your Honor, for whatever that's worth.
If it's gonna, it needs to be refiled, if it can have amended on there, because there was already one that was e-filed yesterday by you, Mr. Ball, and it only has your signature and your client's signature.
So this one has to be amended,
Amended, yes,
agreed,
yes.
amended, agreed
It
divorce.
already says agreed, it just needs to be amended.
Okay,
I'm sure we can get that done.
all right. Yeah, type
Take
it
care.
out, type, yeah, do that. Okay,
Thank you, Judge.
that'll do it. That'll do it, folks. Happy holidays. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
You take care, huh?
Number 2, Mr. Alvarez is here for Discover Bank.
Okay, number 2. Let me see here. All right, good morning, sir.
Morning, Judge. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time.
I know, Judge. I haven't not been around this court.
All right. Well, anyway, good to see you. You're here on CL 21-3463D, Discover Bank versus Roberto Saldivar. And let me see. It's an MSJ, motion for summary judgment.
That is correct, Judge. It is set for a motion for summary judgment. No response has been on file, Judge, that I can tell. And
Okay.
Mr. Saldivar is not here in the courtroom. I don't see him in Zoom either, Judge.
Right. He's not in the waiting room either. Okay, sir. Court will take judicial notice and you may proceed, sir.
Judge, we will ask the court to take judicial notice of all the pleadings on file to all, together with all the exhibits that have been presented on those petition. We ask the court for a judgment in the amount of $3,183.92 plus court costs, Judge, in the amount of $370.15. With that said, Judge, I have no further evidence.
All right, then court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant the motion for summary judgment here. And court will therefore wait for a judgment for signature. Anything else, sir?
No, Judge, a motion or an order should be on file, Judge, already.
All right,
for
and
signature.
we'll retrieve it and we'll sign it today. Okay, sir?
Thank you, Judge, and nice seeing you again, Judge, and
Nice. See.
you all stay safe, okay?
Hey, happy holidays. Stay safe.
Happy holidays to you too, Judge.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, who else do we have?
On number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7, there was a motion for continuance that was filed by Mr. Flores, indicating that his client has a license compliance review by the state of Texas on December 14th. The review may run from 2 to 4 days.
Mhm.
Therefore, he's requesting a continuance. Mr. Abel Hinojosa
Mhm.
has not logged on either. It's already 10:27.
Okay, so that would be cost number F0048-4 in the matter of the marriage of Maria del Pilar Navarro and Jesus Navarro. And there's a motion for continuance. And yes, let me see here. I don't see Mr. Flores in the waiting room, nor Mr. Davis.
No, Mr. Hinojosa.
I'm sorry, Mr. Abel Hinojosa. I'm sorry, you start case. That's taking so long. This is another case.
Judge,
Okay. Yes, sir, bailiff.
Yes, sir, Judge. At about 8:30 this morning, Mr. Hinojosa did come by the office to indicate that he had agreed to the motion for continuance.
Okay, thank you, bailiff.
Yes, sir.
Then court will hereby grant the motion for continuance in F 48 20 4 in the matter of the marriage, of the Navarro marriage. All right, that'll do it. Anything else?
If you, yeah, hold on.